I would first of all say that it's okay to admit that Mother's Day is honestly pretty rubbish if your mum has died. Allow yourself to do whatever you feel on the day. If you want to ignore it altogether, there is nothing wrong with that. And if you want to honour it, then do. If you're feeling
This
low
is the
about
voice of
it, then allow
21-year-old
yourself to be
Tegan
sad and miss
Banks.
her.
Her mum died
Sometimes
of a
I
brain
find that doing
tumour when she was
something
11.
ordinary, going out
She
for
was
a day or
supported
simply
by
going to
child
work can
bereavement
prevent
charity
yourself feeling
Winston's Wish,
overwhelmed and
where she
suffocated by
discovered
the
writing
constant
as a
ringing of
coping
the day.
mechanism.
Every year will feel different, so I think it's important to listen to your own emotions and do whatever feels right for you. I think Mother's Day is different.
I spoke to her on the phone.
Hello.
Hi, Tegan. And asked her what Mother's Day was like growing up.
To start off with, what are your memories of Mother's Day when you were a child?
I remember sort of making breakfast in bed for her, things like that, or just going out for the day. I think I just remember it being nice, really.
And what it's like for her now.
I think it's something that kind of changes every year for me. It is something that can be quite painful. It's literally in your face, Mother's Day. It's like everywhere you look. And it's not just that day, it's kind of leading up to it. So as the years go on, it kind of feels a bit like people forget around you. I've felt in the past that people forget that it's a difficult day for me. And I think that's something I've struggled with quite a lot, to be honest. It's kind of good to remember not to allow yourself to wallow too much. I also think it's good to bring other people into it. And that doesn't necessarily have to be in like a sad way. But I've found talking to either friends or family and say, can I just talk about my mum for this day?
Rachel Gooding is a bereavement support practitioner for Winston's Wish, one of the charities that has supported Tegan since her mum died.
I've always worked with children and young people, so it's something that I'm really passionate about. Working in bereavement, it can be challenging. We often do have to have some very difficult and challenging conversations with young people, but it is very rewarding and comforting to know that we're able to be there for young people and offer them a space to talk.
The charity has helped Tegan to find coping mechanisms for her grief.
I think a big thing that Winston's Wish have helped me with is being able to write about it or give other people advice around Mother's Day. One of the only good things about social media was that they then shared it on Mother's Day and I could see all the responses to other people that had experienced losing their mum and how what I'd written had resonated with them or helped them. And I think to just see people's comments and say, you know what, I feel like that and I kind of hear you and I see you and it makes you realise that you're not as alone as sometimes you feel that you are on those days.
And here is a section of that writing.
Mother's Day can feel like a big pushy sign reminding you that you don't have a mum to treat or spend time with like everyone else can. Grief is not linear, and you will never just be sad about missing that person on anniversaries or special occasions. Times of grief are sometimes unexpected and don't have to be measured by a date in the calendar. For me, I think of my mum every day, in fleeting moments. Some are happy memories and some are truly very sad.
Mother's Day can be particularly tough for school children.
Especially when you're a bit younger and it's primary school, it's making cards and things like that. Obviously, that's quite a harsh reminder. You have to kind of explain that I don't actually have someone to make a Mother's Day card for.
Data from Child Bereavement UK has found that 127 children and young people are bereaved of a parent every day. As a result, 1 in 29 children are bereaved.
And if we think about that in terms of classes in schools, then it's 1 in every class. So every class has a bereaved child.
This is the voice of Claire Bullen, Head of Support Services at Child Bereavement UK, a charity that supports children and young people up to the age of 25 who've been bereaved of someone important to them.
I think important days like Mother's Days can be a real reminder of loss to families. So perhaps to find a way to talk about it, if that feels like the right thing to do, to be really gentle on yourself and perhaps do something in memory to help feel connected to the person that's died. So families tell us that sometimes it's valuable to them to go out for a meal or to eat something that might have been the favourite food of the person that's died. For some people, it would be to visit the grave or a special place.
This is a really difficult day for mothers who've lost their kids as well. And I
Yes.
know you do lots of work with these people too. What does that work consist of, and how does it differ to dealing with the children?
I'm not sure it differs that greatly for a bereaved parent, especially a bereaved mum on Mother's Day. It can be a very difficult day.
Social media also creates a real challenge for those who have lost their mums.
I know from the children and young people that I've worked with that social media can sometimes be very difficult to manage, but can also actually be something really helpful. Being able to go on to perhaps Facebook and see memories of their mum and see other people's comments about their mum. But at the same time, we absolutely appreciate that when we are bombarded by reminders of Mother's Day, then that can also be a challenge. And I think it's really good to see emails from organisations and companies being quite respectful and giving people the choice of opting out of Mother's Day reminders, Mother's Day adverts.
Tegan again.
It depends again on what kind of place that I'm in, but I know I've been through like Mother's Days where I've gone on Instagram or Facebook and it is just floods of people sharing pictures of their mums and saying Happy Mother's Day, or just a photo of the day itself and doing something nice with their mum. It's like a painful reminder.
Last year, Child Bereavement UK provided direct support for over 3,200 people. That's an increase of 16% when compared to the year before.
I think when you lose someone as a child, especially a parent, it kind of takes its toll throughout your life.
Tegan worked with another charity, A Part of Me, where she was helped by a grief guide. She's now in a place where she can become a grief guide herself, helping other bereaved young people to cope.
It's weird because obviously you're both in that situation because of something that's really awful's happened. But it's really nice to know that although something really sad and awful has happened to you, that it's a really weird way to put it, but I feel like it's made me much more empathetic, and it amazes me the ability it's allowed me to connect with other people. I don't think I've ever connected with people who had been through something similar to me in such a powerful way before. And I think because grief and death is such a taboo in our society, I think just by going around and like talking about it, it just makes it easier when it does come up.
And for Tegan, recalling the values instilled by her mum can ease her journey.
She wasn't very well before she died. It kind of put into perspective, I guess, how short life was. Even when she was really poorly, she was always very positive. Even when life is a bit rubbish or things seem a bit hard, just to try and look for the light at the end of the tunnel or the more positive things. And also just to live my life to my full potential as best as I can and just take every opportunity and try and do cool things with my life.
And a big part of that has been helping others through her writing.
Mother's Day, of course, can bring a huge focus on the fact that your mum is not around. I sometimes try and not look on social media on this day, as I think it can be hard to see others with their mothers. Mother's Day is a time to appreciate your mum, so I think it is important to try and do this. Putting flowers on her grave, looking through photos and remembering her is a way you can appreciate her when she is not here.